All right, I want to do a $6 buggy frame build, and there it is. Lowe's, $5.98 for 6 of these 1x2x8s. So I'm gonna build it out of that wood first, just because I don't want to spend money on metal. And if that works, then we'll go to metal. And I drew something up quick and dirty here. And basically what I'm shooting for is a mid-engine. A super duper light frame. I want to use a quad rear end, so just be a single axle rear end back here, just like steal it from a quad. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do the front suspension yet. So front suspension is kind of hard, and steering and all that, that's kind of hard. But that is basically the beast right there. And so I'm going to use aluminum for the whole frame. I want to make something super light. And for that engine, I'm going to do a snowmobile engine. So there's the snowmobile engine. This is a 95 phaser. It's got a 580cc motor in it. So what we'll do is we'll figure out, I want to put my butt right here and sit on top of the engine, so it's a mid-engine buggy. And of course the motor is 2-stroke, super light, variable transmission, and it has a reverse. So reverse is very handy on a buggy. So I gotta figure out how to fit all that underneath my rear end. All right, so let's see where we can get. Okay, we're getting a size figured out here. I want this just barely longer than my my foot to my hip, so it's a little bit longer than that. So we're gonna go for 52 inches. So we'll go 52 inches, and that'll be right there, that long piece, the main frame rails right there, 52 inches. All right, so we'll see what that does. Okay, so we gotta get some measurements here so we can figure out how wide I want my frame rails. So looking at this thing, this is gonna be about, so the engine is gonna be about 16 inches tall, and then I want it to sit down a little bit between the frame rails. So there's the snowmobile frame right there. And this side, kind of hard to see, but so there's a snowmobile frame right there. And it looks like right down there is where the frame of the engine bolts on. So we will shoot for let's shoot for, we'll shoot for 16 inches. So 16-inch wide main frame rails. All right, let's try that. All right, so the width I want this thing to be is I basically want it, so if I have my elbows out, my elbows are protected. So I want the frame about that wide. So it's going to be about like that. So I'm going to measure my elbows, see how far apart my elbows are. Oh. So it looks like, I'm thinking about 3 feet wide. I'm thinking about 3 feet wide here. That would get me, some healthy cockpit cabin here. That'll give me good protection in case it rolls. So that should be good. All right. That's kind of my dash. I lowered it to, shortened it to 32 inches. And so my front be about 26 inches to the outside corner right there. So let's chop up 26. Okay, we got the front little crossbar in. Just kind of hanging there barely. And that's going to be it. So let's see how it is. Climb in. Slide your feet under. Oh, and it fell apart. So now we need to figure out where the front of where the drive axle is. There's the drive axle right back in there. That shiny thing right down there. That's about over that. And then the front of the engine's right about 20 to 21. So the front of the engine to the drive axle is about 21. Alright, let's go see how that looks. 21. Oh. Got what to say. Front of the engine to the drive axle is 21. Okay. 19, 20, 21. So, front of the engine to the drive axle is 21. And it's 16 inches tall. Right about the front, too. So 16 is way up there. So this 21. Oh. So front of the engine to the drive axle is about 21. So that's the front, and that's the axle. Carbs are about here, and my butt's right about here. So if I sit in there, okay, we got that much of a box going. And it's looking cool. That's your foot box up front there. And then now I miscalculated my bundle of wood. I'm going to have to get another $6 pile of wood. That bums me out. But it's coming along. Okay. There's what we started out with. And there's what we got. Not exactly it, but this is just a first iteration. And so now we just got to, that's not going to work anyway. But hey, what do you think? The wedge looks pretty killer. But we have to redo it because the head, the spot up here is too close to your helmet, and there's not enough room for your head, so I'm going to have to open it up anyway. It's looking pretty cool. Looking pretty cool, but gonna need some adjustment there. All right. Okay, well, it's not looking like the drawing because I just didn't have perspective of where my legs would be under here and my feet and stuff. So it just, plus since I want to have the motor right here, the motor's going to be kind of tall, so I'm going to actually be sitting up a little bit higher. So I lost some of my triangles. Your triangles, what gives the whole machine strength, or the frame strength. And since I really want to do it out of aluminum and make it super light, and we'll find out if it's strong or not. So it's it's looking like a frame. I gotta figure out where to put the cross beams. So here's these sample cross beams right here. I'm not sure that that's a good idea or not, but you know, I got it coming down there and up to there, and I'm not sure what to do in here. I might put one right there, and then you'll climb in through the top, I think. Not sure, because it's just going to be big enough for you to get into. So you're going to have to be kind of in shape to jump in through the top here, I think. That's kind of what I'm thinking, because if this thing rolls, it's super light frame, so I have to have enough reinforcements to make it survive a roll and protect the rider. So let's see, that's where it's at. So far, I'm going to slowly figure out where to put all my cross beams, but I think I've got enough room in there to get myself like the picture showed, and the engine and everything else in there. So it's looking pretty good. I'm kind of happy with it. All right. Okay. One thing that's kind of interesting is that this wood, since I'm using screws to screw the wood together, every joint is flexible. It's really flexible. So from that, I can kind of tell where to put my triangles to get extra bracing. So I'm thinking I'm going to put another triangle brace up to here, like that, and then one down here, and that should really stiffen this thing up. And basically, you'll get in this thing through the top, which is what I was thinking. So you climb in and out right here through the top, and we'll just strengthen this up. So it's gonna be super light, so I just gotta have all my triangles in the right place to really make it stiff. So coming along, looking good. Looking good. All right, we had some triangle stiffening right here and a stiffener right here. And I can't move this too far back because part of the engine is going to be sticking out of the frame on this side and part of the engine is going to be sticking out of the frame on that side. So, but just with this and this, that has super stiffened up the whole frame. I can almost put my full weight on this top bar up here, and I put my full weight on this top bar right here, and the frame doesn't deform at all. So it's really rigid right now, at least straight down right there. But side to side this way, this thing's really weak right now. So I'm going to put a cross from there to there and a cross from there to there, and that'll stiffen that up back way. And I'll probably just do a cross in the very, very back frame back here and stiffen that up. And hopefully the front window here, you got to leave it open. You can't put anything there because you got to see out the front. But hopefully that'll stiffen it up side to side. So we'll do that. Okay. So we added a ton of front cross bracing. It's a little bit, it doesn't obstruct your view a whole lot, but it is a little bit annoying. I can use smaller tubing, paint it black, and it won't be as obvious in your field of view. But it's just, like I said, it's just going to be so light. It needs rollover protection. We just need cross triangle side lows now. So now it's just, with this, it just super stiffened it up from these top corners. And of course this front X, that stiffened it super up from these corners. And now all we got left is to add an X in the back here, and that will stiffen up the very back and keep the back from wobbling around so much. And that should make this thing rollover proof. And like I said, basically you're just going to be getting in, climbing in the top. I may do some kind of a cross brace here, but maybe not, I'm not sure. So we'll, this is definitely going to be a super light frame. Like I said, aluminum, and essentially this is 3/4 by 1.5. I may try to find some aluminum just this size, and it's it's super light. Pick the whole thing up. Well, at least this is. If I got some of this small stuff to do this front cross brace here, and that would work really good. Anyhow, trying to find just a nice, elegant way to make a super duper light but ultra rigid frame. And I think my bottom rails here are going to be 2x3 aluminum, so it'll be a big, huge monster bottom rail there. And the rest of this exterior tubing, either 1x2 or, like I said, 3/4 by 1.5. And this cross bracing, all this stuff right here, which is about 3/4 by 3/4. So that's where it's at. It's definitely not looking exactly what I had drawn, but I just I really had my perspective wrong of how my body's going to fit in this thing. So I just did not have the perspective right to get my legs in and my body in. So basically almost that. Well, not quite. But this is the beginning. And it's only $6. All right, the real test is going to be getting the motor in there and figuring out how to adjust this frame to get the motor in. I've got a general idea of what the frame's going to have to look like, and I measured the width of the bottom frame rails there to semi-match the engine. This is gonna be a real reality check once I put the engine in there, but this gives me an overall design, and it's rigid, it'll be light, and I can adjust it whatever I need to do on the bottom down there to get that engine in there. And then essentially the back bar here, the back bar right here, that is going to be where the quad axle pivots, bolts on, as well as the drive sprocket. So I'm going to have the axle and drive shaft with the sprocket on it right on that same shaft. So it's going to be a bearing, a pivoting axle right there. And then it'll go back to the swing arm. So the engine's going to have it has its own transmission back to this point. So finagling all that in here is going to be fun. But all I want to do is get a basic idea for a frame, something that's, relatively small, super light. And the front suspension, I've been looking at my Odyssey, and the Odyssey just has a swivel. It swivels like this, pivots on the front, the very, very front, and swivels. So we'll see. The suspension will be kind of fun. Yeah, so it's really light and looking good. And I'll probably adjust the shape of it a little bit. I gotta figure out a shape that I really like. Something that just looks cool, but is also still sturdy and rigid. And I may also end up bringing this up to a box up here. So I might have a box, bring it up a couple inches. I don't know. Instead of going all the way down like that, it might be a box. So we'll see. Okay. I just want to prove how rigid that frame is and how strong it is. So this is just 1x2 fur strips with one screw in every corner. So here it goes. There. Nice and rigid. It's not shifting, it's not deforming, all with just these one little 1x4 wood screws. So this thing is really rigid, and it kind of confirms that I got the correct triangles everywhere, so that's good. I gotta add the pan in the bottom, that will stiffen that up. But as you can see, it held me just fine. Nice and sturdy, didn't fall over sideways, didn't fall over front to backwards, sideways, great. So happy. Alright, I changed my mind a little bit. I decided I really kind of like the wedge look. The square trapezoid box thing didn't look very distinct. So I think I'm going to try out this wedge look here. And then I think I like that wedge look. That looks kind of cool. And so then what, instead of getting in from the top, now you just get in through the front. And And now your view's unobstructed because I'm going to put my cross up on top here, and that'll make the top rock solid. Your view will be unobstructed, and that's where you climb in. And so I'll have all the proper strengthening triangles I need, hopefully. So let's see how that does. Okay, nice and light. And let's see it hold my weight. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, there it is. So I gotta put my cross braces up here still. So there. Still sturdy. I'll put my triangle right here in the top, and that'll get rid of that shift side to side. But rock solid this way. And of course, once it's made out of aluminum, it'll still be pretty light. So we'll give that a shot. Oh. So there, sit back here, the engine's gonna be right here. Steering wheel. So that's pretty good. Plenty of room for a helmet. Steering wheel. Unobstructed view. And still protected from a rollover. Plus we'll have good seat belts. My butt might be up a little bit. And then get out. Alright. We'll see how that is. Alright. Thanks for watching. That's my one-day $6 buggy frame build. And we'll see where it goes from there.